And we are back. In this matchup, we have 2 seed in the Harden region, Joel Embiid, taking for the immediate slam, going against one of the last remaining Cinderellas, the 11 seed, Nikola Jokic. The spread is Embiid 2.5, and it looked pretty strong in that first take, and now the block and the immediate layup to go up.
Oh, man.
Over under 18.5. Matt, what'd you take on this game?
I took Jokic straight up and against the spread, and immediately I'm regretting it because, like, part of my thought process was we saw Jokic just dominate with blocks the first 2 games, and I was like, oh, he's got the explosiveness, and then Embiid blows right past him on the first layup. So I guess that Jokic is only explosive versus guards is how it works.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Interestingly enough, Matt, these 2 players are the exact same 2K rating.
I think honestly a lot of this is that I've watched these matchups like whenever these 2 have played. I think Joker in real life wins this. I really do. He's craftier. He has better shot selection. Embiid is so powerful and so strong. Joker is really strong.
Joker is pretty
just really
strong,
good at
right?
not getting bumped, and not just because of his weight. Like even he lost 30 pounds mid-season, and beat up 3-1. He lost 30 pounds mid-season, and even then, like he's just an ox. So like Embiid's one advantage is really kind of neutralized by Jokic's size. And Jokic is so good at getting to his shots. Like I think he's going to up fake a lot more and get Embiid to bite on one of his shots.
Yeah. Jokic, you're right. He's like Marc Gasol. He's not like sculpted, but it's just brute strength still.
Nice soundboard shuffle.
Yeah. Embiid up 3-2 here. Again, this is Embiid minus 2.5.
There's the athleticism.
Jokic catching up here a little bit. Able to get that block.
I also like how nobody goes to get the ball. Jokic would definitely make him go get the ball. The head games would be a very big part of this matchup because Embiid would just be talking endless stuff, and Joker's very good at the little things that annoy the hell out of you. Joker is one of the more annoying players to play against in the NBA.
Yeah, I would bet. So crafty, can really get in your head.
He's also he's also quite frankly, he's pretty dirty. So, I loved it because somebody asked Steven Adams if Jokic was dirty, and he was like, and Adams said, "Come on, mate, like, look at all of us. We're all dirty down there." I was like, "If you just pay attention." I asked Steven Adams once, who we should have had in this tournament, it turns out, because of how the big dumping. Sure, crossover into a big jam there. Sure. I asked Adams one time if the NBA was anywhere as physical, if you could compare the physicality of rugby to the NBA. It was definitely trying to goad him, and he tried to give me the very diplomatic answer. He was like, "Yeah, I think when you let," and he paused. He's like, "I can't. No, there's no comparison. It's way more physical in rugby. There's just no comparison. It's very soft here."
Yeah, rugby like football without pads.
God bless Steven Adams.
It's insane. Yeah. So Embiid up 2 here. See if he can hit this. Yep. Able to go up 3.
If Knicks trader Kristaps Porzingis beats Embiid in this tournament, are we going to need to get WOB counseling?
We might. That have to be in the championship game because they're on opposite sides of the bracket. Are you just taking Porzingis to win the tournament at this point?
I may just go ahead and fully buy in.
Yeah. Embiid, beautiful fadeaway, perfect release.
Dominating 7-4. You see the edge in the more popular player being played out in this game.
Yeah, well, so they're same 2K rating as we mentioned. I think 91. But you wonder if most of that high rating for Jokic is more on like the playmaking, passing side of things,
exactly.
Which would hurt him a little bit in a one-on-one setting, which is probably it's definitely realistic in real life. I think that's why we sort of bumped him down to, an 11 seed. Maybe that was a little over aggressive, but And again, our seeding was based on real life.
That was a great move. He couldn't finish. Great spin move there.
Yeah. 7-4. Embiid 2.5, 18.5 is the total. So we're gonna have a little.
Oh, the up fake. That was beautiful. See, I think a lot of it though is like if Joker is inflated here because of the playmaking, I think his individual skill is a little underrated, and I think Embiid's individual, like so far what we're seeing in this matchup is Jokic is Embiid's skill level stuff on ball is definitely a little inflated. Like he's not this quick, he's not this fluid, he doesn't have this many like counter moves in the post. He has great footwork. He's had great footwork since college. I made a comparison. Like I love Olajuwon. He was the one. Like the Rockets team was the first NBA team I really loved. And when he was in college, I wrote a whole thing breaking down the comparison of Embiid to Olajuwon. That's how much I like it.
I think it's a great comparison, actually. I see some Olajuwon in him for sure.
Except Olajuwon actually was as good on the court as he could be.
Are you saying Embiid isn't fully formed yet?
It's more than just like Embiid does a lot of things where I'm just like, what are you doing? He takes
he's like not optimizing his game.
Dominates.
Ooh, man, that was
had a good run.
Tough. That was tough. Embiid wins
when the guy with knee and back surgeries is doing spin move crossovers into flying one-handed tomahawks, I think you're probably in danger.
Yeah. Embiid dominates here, 11-4. Again, the spread was -2.5. Over-under was 18.5. So if you had Embiid covering the spread and the under, congratulations on that. All right, Matt, let's talk about the Final Four match, or the Elite Eight matchup that we have coming now after these games here in the Harden region. Looked like we might get an upset, but ended up being a chalky finish. James Harden able to come back from behind, beat Steph Curry, and then the 2 seed, Joel Embiid, able to run through Nikola Jokic, who was a Cinderella in this region. So we have the number 1 versus number 2, Harden versus Embiid. Probably the best example in the Elite Eight of a big versus a guard. Really one of the few guards left. We've seen bigs absolutely dominate. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Do you think Harden can, remain to be one of the few guards able to make a run in this tournament?
I think it ends here. I think Embiid probably wins based on what we've seen with how the simulations have gone for the big men. I just don't think that there's any way that like Embiid's going to wind up blocking a lot of Harden shots, because Harden's going to take, even if he takes some 2s, he's not going to take all 2s. And even if he goes to some step backs, he won't take enough, and he'll have someone's blocked. Embiid's defense is probably going to win. I'm probably going to take the under and take Embiid to win in the in that region's final.
So it's going to be interesting, right? Because we have seen Harden play. He played a guard tonight in Steph Curry, and he really didn't take a whole lot of 2s. He was backing him down and getting to that mid-range game, overpowering him on layups. But in the first 2 games, Harden was playing bigs. In particular that first round matchup against Blake Griffin. And we saw against those slower guys who were just not able to get out, he was taking step back 3 after step back 3. So I wonder if he's going to do that same thing against Embiid here in this simulation, which I would honestly guess so. And in that case, the math problem wins out. Like, I think Harden gets a big is just problematic, because the math problem on a 1-in-1s versus 2s game is very important, and Harden seems to really be able to get to that against a big man. So it's going to be interesting. You might be right. Embiid might just overpower him. But I do wonder if Harden just goes to that step back on the left side like we saw him against Blake Griffin. He took like 4 or 5 of them, whether that's enough to propel him in the Final Four.
We'll have to get the official lines from Sean Corner and Justin Fan on actionnetwork.com. But what would you put the spread at in this game?
I would put it at, so the problem is you have to put it at a pick'em or 2.5 because you have to win by 2. I would hope it would be a pick'em so I could take Harden. I would probably set it at Harden 2.5.
Harden 2.5.
Yeah. I think it's closer to a pick'em than that, but you can't set it at 1.
What do you give me on a money line for Embiid?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
You and I could probably arrange a wager under these circumstances.
Like 150?
150. I definitely take 150 on Embiid.
Yeah.
I would definitely take Embiid.
We'll have to figure something out. So Harden, you're saying not going to make it the Final Four?
I don't think so. He was a 1 seed for a reason. His game is perfectly tailored for this. He's got so many counter moves. But a lot of it is like, I like the way that Harden is able to manipulate space in a one-on-one environment. He's the best isolation player that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
In terms of, since we were able to track those numbers, he's the best isolation player we've ever seen. His narco dribble, which is that slow back and forth that he does to slowly get you to just take one step in the wrong direction. And if you play to his right, then he's just going to go left around you. And if you play to his left to try and contain the drive, he's going to step back to his right. So like he has all these counter moves, but I don't have any faith in the system of actually being able to illustrate that. I think that what we've seen from Embiid is a lot more explosiveness than what he carries, because JoJo's pretty typically not in great shape. It's a complaint every single year that he doesn't come in. Everybody's like, maybe he'll come in and be like, this year, the whole thing was like, maybe Embiid comes into camp and he's super. No, he still looks slow again. Because like he doesn't really have to. And so I think he'll just probably back down Harden. Harden's going to miss like one shot, and then he's going to wind up being like 4-3, 4-2 early. And once he gets into that range, like, yes, Harden can come back because of the twos, but he has to hit so many to overcompensate, and Embiid will continue to just hammer him. His ability to catch up on drives and contest on the step backs, I just feel like the size advantage is too much. I'll take Embiid.
It's fair. We will see. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with the Elite Eight.